The New York State estate tax. Thank goodness only the rich people pay it. Only Mr. Burns and all the rich guys. The Trumpster. No one else pays it, right? Yeah. Wait, it is bad. It's less bad than it used to be. Not that long ago, you had a $1 billion exemption, and now it's gone up significantly from that. But I'm just telling you, my friends, if you have any assets and you die in New York, you gotta CYA, because they are going to come for you big time. It's actually horrific how this works. So let's dive into this. So looking at smartasset.com, the New York estate tax. The estate tax ranges in New York from 3 to 16%. Estates over 5.25 million are subject to this tax. Now, I can hear you saying, "Oh, Josh, that's nuts. I have 5.25 million." All right, let's say you have a house that's worth, let's say you're 55 years old, and you got a house that's worth $500,000, and you're going to die when you're 85. So that's 30 years. So $500,000 present value, right? We're going to say it grows at, we'll say 2.5% a year. 2.5% a year. We're going to get that for 30 years. That guy will be worth $1.048 million. All right. Now this is indexed for inflation. I get that. So we'll talk about that here in just a second. So we got $1 million home. Now let's say you got $750,000 in an IRA, and you're contributing not an IRA, 401k, and you're contributing $25,000 a year. All right. So now we're contributing 25. There we go. We're contributing 25,000 a year. We got what do I say? 750,000 in our 401k right now. We're going to do that for another 10 years, and we're going to get 7% interest. And our present value, and that'll be worth $1.82 million in 10 years. All right. So now we're 65, and we're going to get 6% a year from there on for 20 years. And we got $3.324 right there. So we got $3.324 million plus $1 million in our home. We have a $4.5 million estate just right there. What if we have life insurance? What if we have other assets? We have an estate, and once you breach the 5.25, it gets ugly. So it's crazy, man. Now I get it. This will be indexed for inflation. That's fantastic. But what's the inflation rate they're using? 2.6, something like that. All right, whether you're thinking about your own legacy or as you enjoy your twilight years, or you're the one dealing with figuring out your relative's legacy, here's an all-in guide for New York estate tax. The New York estate tax threshold is 5.25. Is scheduled to increase to 5.5 in 2019, and then it'll increase with each year with inflation. That means if a person estate is worth less than 5.25 and they die in 2018 at 5.5 now, they owe nothing. But New York has a cliff that impacts the very wealthy estates. So again, because you're very wealthy here, you squirreled away some money, you got a house that you've been in, and that means you're very wealthy. Don't forget, this includes life insurance. If you have any significant life insurance whatsoever, this will be added to it as well. You could easily have no money at all and have a $5 million life insurance policy and a $1 million home, and you are subject to estate tax, but it's bad. If the state exceeds 5.25 million, it pays tax on the amount. Okay. So here's how it works. There's a 105% threshold. If the estate exceeds the threshold, 5.5 million, by 5% or less, it only pays taxes on the amount of which it exceeded that. So if you have a $5.6 million estate, you only pay tax on the $110,000 that exceeds the 5.49% threshold, million threshold. However, if your estate tax is worth more than 105%, if your estate is worth more than 105% of the threshold amount, so we take 5.49 times 1.05, if your estate is worth 5.76 million or more, you're going to be paying there's a cliff, all right, which means you're going to pay estate tax on the entirety of the estate. So here you go. If your estate was worth 5.76 million, your taxable estate is only 150,000. If your estate surpasses 5.76 million, all of your estate is taxable. And here we're going to talk about it here in just a second. The estate tax rate is graduated. It starts at 3.06 and goes all the way up to 16% for taxable estates worth more than 10 million. The taxable estate is a value of the estate above 5.25 million unless it reaches the cliff, right? Now find it. Okay, so let's example. Say your estate is worth $6 million. That exceeds the cliff. So all of it is taxable. So we go down here. None of this means anything to us. This 0.3, 0.06 doesn't mean anything to us. $6 million. 12% is a taxable because it exceeds the threshold of 5.5 million. The entirety is taxable from the very first penny. The base tax for that is $402 million because we got a $6 million estate, so $402 million. All right, and then we take 500 or 900,000. We times it by 12%. It's crazy. So if you had a $6 million estate, you'll get a tax of $510,000 in the state of New York. It goes back to the first penny. Freaking nuts, man. That's the New York estate tax. It's horrible. Now it's better than it used to be because again, like it used to be, only $1 million threshold. We're going to talk about some of these states that don't adjust their estate tax for inflation because this actually ticks me off. This is one of those things that I find to be, I just find to be incredibly horrific. I mean, you're talking all these rich guys out there, they're all going to move as the upper middle class so is going to get hammered by this. And they're going to pay, I mean, we're talking a $6 million estate. And again, that could be half, it could be life insurance. They're going to pay $510,000 in taxes. That's just, that's wrong. Anyway. All right, so we'll go in some other states here too, and it's painful, but we'll go into a couple other states as well. All right, we'll see you. Thanks.